What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're talking World Rugby Rankings. Not everyone's favorite topic because a lot don't agree with the World Rankings. A lot think it's far-fetched. A lot are unhappy, especially if you hate South Africa right now, because they're staying number one even though they're not playing rugby. I think especially the All Black fans are a little disappointed, especially with the way they are demolishing Australia. You'd think they'll be able to qualify for the top position, but unfortunately they cannot, no matter what score they beat Australia or Argentina with. South Africa will end 2020 on top of the world, whether you like it or not. I get your frustrations, but unfortunately that's the way World Rugby does it. We need to take it up with Uncle Bill Beaumont and the team who decide how these rankings work. Now we've seen some great international rugby finally being played. Six Nations ended off. We've seen the Bledisloe Cup getting into the heart of it and the start of the Tri-Nations tournament. We're seeing things starting up again finally after a freaking long time of no international rugby. Some teams hadn't even played since the 2019 Rugby World Cup and now are finally getting able to get into the swing of things. Therefore, we are seeing some changes in the rankings right now. Some teams will be extremely happy with the progress that they've made and the hard work that they've put in. Unfortunately for others, they're not going to be happy with the way their rankings are sitting, as some have decreased going into it. Now, obviously, we've seen the Six Nations new champions be crowned, which is England. England still remain at number 3 in the world. South Africa on 94.20 points, followed by New Zealand on 91.84, and then obviously England as mentioned. Then we go to 4th place, which is the newly crowned 4th place placeholders, or whatever the hell you want to call it, which is France. They have bounced up from 5th to 4th, which I think is absolutely remarkable and so well deserved. Beating Ireland was a big one for them and gave them that extra jolt up to get into 4th place. 5th place, we got Ireland, who were 4th, are now 5th in the world. Unfortunately for them, it's a drop, but it's still not too bad of a position, as they did have a fairly competitive Six Nations championship. I mean, all they needed to do was get a bonus point win over France. Fortunately, couldn't do that. Credit to France for playing some incredible rugby. Young team, new coach, so well deserved. Credit to them. But unfortunately for Ireland, they dropped in the positions, but can still, I think, be relatively proud of what they produced. Yes, they could have done better, and yes, they could have actually won the tournament, but unfortunately for them, it just wasn't their year. We go to 6th place. Australia remain the same from last time. They're sitting on 82.19 points. Scotland move into 7th place, and Wales unfortunately go from 7th to 8th. It's not been a good year for Wales. 2020 will be a year that they'll want to forget. I mean, can you believe it? Just over a year ago, and I mean just over a year ago, start of the World Cup warm-up games, Wales were number 1 in the world, so it's not a good time for them, but we know they've got quality. We know they've got talent within the squad. They just need to gel. They just need to regroup, refocus, and they will get back to where they are. Overall, with these rankings, it's not far apart. I mean, you got Wales at 80 points. You got Ireland at 84. I mean, they just need to beat the teams. Wales can definitely move up the rankings again in the Autumn Nations Cup. They can beat England, they can beat France, they can beat Ireland. Then they're going to make their way up. So it's not the end of the road. So Wales fans, have faith in your team. You can bounce back. Scotland, however, congratulations on getting up to 7th place. You too, my friends, have an opportunity at moving up the rankings if you beat teams like Ireland, France and England. Remember, Australia are currently playing in the Rugby Championship. If they Tri-Nations, if their form continues, then you could see Australia drop down a few and Scotland and Wales picking up a bit. So it's not the end of the world for even Scotland. I mean, the Autumn Nations Cup is literally a week away. Not this weekend, next weekend. We're kicking it off. If these teams from the Six Nations can shoot up, then by all means, they're going forward. In 9th place, you got Japan sitting there just under Wales at 79.29 points, followed by 10th position Argentina, who have just stayed there for quite some time. But hopefully a successful Tri-Nations campaign, beating Australia perhaps, getting a surprise win over the All Blacks. Hey, anything is possible. It is rugby, it is sport, anything can happen. That will jolt Argentina up the rankings. And again, like I said, it is close. So Argentina gets solid wins over Australia, they can definitely swap things around and surprise us. Japan will probably finish off around about 10th place because of the way we're going to see rugby being played. Argentina have an opportunity of moving up, and a definite win against, if they can definitely pick up a win against the All Blacks, or possibly Australia right now at the current form that they're doing, they'll definitely have their tails up for that. By all means, we could see something happen, and we can see Argentina jolt up those rankings. So right now, what we're seeing is definitely going to change by the end of 2020, unless we see surprise losses from New Zealand. England maybe winning the Autumn Nations Cup, possibly taking over from New Zealand, but I just don't see that happening right now. England possibly winning, definitely, but you got to really beat France or Ireland drastically to move up, and better yet, you need to beat New Zealand to really jolt, and they're not going to play New Zealand this year, so I just see first and second staying put for now. And obviously New Zealand winning the championship, New Zealand getting up further, they're just going to increase their ways. Some other countries to look up: Spain moved up from 18th to 16th place, which is great for them. Fortunately for the States, they dropped from 16 to 17, and Uruguay from 17 to 18. So not great results for them, but hey, more rugby, more opportunities, things can get better for them. So right now, South Africa remain at the top, followed by New Zealand and England in the top three. How is it going to end by the end of the year? I still think first, second, and third possibly going to stay the same, unless we see France rip England and win the Autumn Nations Cup. They could get very close. But as for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's going to be interesting. There are going to be a lot of changes up and down. So I'm really excited to let me know. Also, really excited to see how those results get underway. And that's going to do it for the World Rankings. Who do you think is going to topple it? Or go up or go down? Can we see Argentina finally get off that 10th place? I really hope so for their sake. They've played damn good rugby. They've been such a good sport. I want to see them higher. I want to see Scotland go up a little bit higher. So I'm excited to see what these guys can do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys real soon for another one. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.